Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another important ng hook, that is ngOnDestroy. Okay, prior to this session, we have already discussed about multiple functions, or you can say the hooks that are called for a particular situation from Angular, according to the condition of the component lifecycle. So this session will be covering the last topic, or you can say the last function for the Angular component lifecycle, that is ngOnDestroy. So we will discuss what is ngOnDestroy function, why do we need it, how we can implement it, and what are the benefits of using ngOnDestroy. But before we proceed further, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being I'm just mainly focusing on how to implement ngOnDestroy. Okay, fine. Now before we proceed further, let's discuss about the definition. Okay, because directly jumping on practical thing would be sometime confusing, okay, for you. So that's why I like discuss the definition first. So if someone asks you what is ngOnDestroy function, so you can simply say that ngOnDestroy function is a function that runs after the component is destroyed successfully, or you can see once the component is deactive. Okay, so once the component is deactivated, after that only this function will be invoked and it will do some set of operations. Now to explain this in a simpler way, we will take the same example of student and teacher. So suppose there are a couple of students studying in the classroom, teacher is giving them instructions, right? At the same time, if their game instructor, or you can say the PTI, come and they announce that it's time for the games period, right? So in that situation, what will happen? All students will go to the ground to play some games, and at the same time teacher will make sure that whatever written over the blackboard is rubbed out, light is turned off, and gate of the classroom is closed. Okay, so these all extra tasks, whether it is clearing the blackboard or turning off the lights, these are some extra effort that teacher is doing once the component is destroyed, before destroying the component, right? So that's how we can relate this example with the teacher and student component. So the moment when user click on the destroy button, so what will do? It will just perform all set of tasks that are supposed to do before leaving the classroom. Okay, now to implement this thing, we need one component as a child component. So here you can see I have already created one component with the name student. So to create this component, you can simply go to this terminal, click on new terminal. From this new terminal, you need to write here ng gc and component name, which is student. So what ng is Angular, G is generate, C is component, and student is the component name. Okay, the moment when you hit the enter on this particular command, what it will do, it will create these 4 files for you, because for every component we have 4 files, right? CSS, HTML, spec.ts, and component.ts. Okay, so once we hit on this command, it will create the component. So in my case, component is already created, that's why I'm not going to create it again. Okay, we will just simply use this component. And another component, which is a parent component, is already in the project. So when you create your first project, at that time only this component will be added. So what we are going to do now, we will connect this student component with the app component. Okay, so to connect this component, just simply go to this student.component.ts file. From here, just simply copy this selector value, which is app student. So once you copy it, now you are good to use this thing. Now to use this component, what you can do, you can simply go to this app.component.ts file. Here we are supposed to register this component before using it. So to register the component, you can simply go to this import section. In this import section, you can put the name of the component. So for example, here we are using the student component. So to register this thing, you can simply mention student component, and once you mention this student component, it will automatically import this line which is registering the component with the app component. Okay, now the next thing is here we are also using this common module. Now what is common module? So common module we are going to use just to utilize some of the special thing like ngIf, ngFor, right? So these all things comes under this common module. So we are going to use ngIf for this particular example. That's why I have also registered this thing and also imported here. Now here one thing is that, like suppose you have mentioned it in the import section, at the same time it should automatically import it, but if it is not, make sure to import it, but because without this thing you are not supposed to use any ngIf. Okay, so these two things is imported. Now another thing that I did here is the declaration of one variable. So I just declared one variable here with the name show and stored the boolean value true. Okay, so this variable we will be using for ngIf condition. So whenever user click on the button, according to this value it will perform active or deactive of the component, or you can say creation and decreation or destroying of the component. Okay, now let's simply go to this app.component.html file. Here what we are doing, we are using that selector value which we copied earlier, right? So we copied this value app student. So as a tag you can simply paste it here, and then we have mentioned this special thing here which is ngIf star ngIf show. So what it means, and this ngIf is coming from common module which we have already declared, right? Common module. Now why we are using this student, let's go to again. Yeah, so why we are using this ngIf? This ngIf is mainly used just to show this particular component. Okay, so if the value of this show is true, it will show this component, otherwise it will not show this component. So when it is not showing the component, that means component is destroyed, and the moment when it is showing the component, it is created, right? So this toggle we are performing through the button. So here you can see we have one button and we have binded this thing with click event. So click binding, and here we are checking if show is not equal to show. So for example, here by default value we have set as true. Okay, so what it will do, it will check true is not equal to true. So this is not equals to true means false. So true equals to false, no, it is not. So in this situation it will not print this line, it will not execute this line. Okay, because true is not equals to false. But let's say if again user click on this button, so the value will be changed, and in this situation it will become true, because true is true, not false equals to true. Okay, so in that situation it will run this line and you will be able to see the output. Okay, so this is the kind of toggle we have implemented for this app student. Now simply go to this student.component.html file, and here we are just printing the student box just to show you that yes, component is working perfectly. And in this student.component.ts file we have mentioned this thing ngOnDestroy. So what this ngOnDestroy will do, it will simply print one console message that ngOnDestroy is called and component is now destroyed. Okay, so because we just want to make sure that component is destroyed. And you can, like if we talk about the student and teacher component, so you can relate it, suppose teacher is leaving the classroom, so before leaving the classroom what they will make sure, that all light is turned off, okay, and everything is rubbed on the blackboard. So that situation we are comparing here with the ngOnDestroy. Okay, so if you want to put those kind of a statement, you can put it here, but for now let's make it simple. So I just put it like this: ngOnDestroy is called and component is destroyed. Okay, fine. So let's run this application and see how it is working. So we will go to new terminal. From here we will simply write ng serve -- open and enter. So once you once you press enter, it will show you that yes, function is coming properly. We can see this student work. So right now if I show you the inspect and console, you will see that there is nothing printed. Why? Because so far the component is active. Okay, but when the user click on this button, it will destroy the component. Okay, and once the component is destroyed, it will print that message that Angular component is destroyed. So when let me click on this button, so you can see here ngDestroy is called and component is destroyed. Similarly, when I click again on this button, it is created, okay, but you can see at the time of creation it is not showing that message. Only one message is printed which we got when we deactivated the button. So don't get confused between the button, because same button we are using as a toggle. It will active the thing, it will deactivate the component, okay. So once I click again, now it is called again, so you can see it makes 2. When I click again, this time it is created, so no ngDestroy, but when we click again, you can see 3. Okay, so alternatively it will create and active and deactivate the component. Okay, so I hope this particular session is clear to all of you, and with this session, like, we have covered all Angular component lifecycle hooks, and I hope it is clear. And if you have any kind of queries or questions, you can simply ask me in the comment section. So from the next session, like, we will be discussing a few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.